Hi, Kathryn here with Circle Art Designs. Today we will be working on project 2 of our June Bargain Bead Box series. For this project, I have chosen the Following the Sun beaded chain necklace. I love the colors in this necklace because they remind me of the beautiful colors of summer, even though it's really hot where we are right now. So let's take a look at our supplies and get started. I have them listed in the description. From the Bargain Bead Box, we will start with the 8mm matte crackle agate round beads in deep orange. These beads are the reason I designed this necklace. We will also be using the 7mm swirl bead caps from the Bargain Bead Box, and the 5.5 times 2mm corrugated rondelle spacer beads in gold tone. And we will be adding our English cut faceted round beads in Goldenrod AB that we had from project 1. Our pendant will be the 33 by 32mm gold plated 18 karat brass and cubic zirconia sun pendant. Boy, that's a mouthful. Isn't that lovely? I needed a chunky chain for this. So from my own stash from the metal gallery, I will be using a gold chain. This is only gold plated, but I love it. So starting with a 20 gauge gold tone craft wire, I'm going to use my nylon pliers and I'm going to straighten out a piece of this wire. We will be making components of several of the different bead combinations, and you want the wire fairly straight. I will be using loopers for this instead of turning my own loops. For me personally, I get a more consistent loop that way. Always cut a fairly long piece of wire to use, and putting that one end into the loopers, you lay it across the looper, and there's a little hole on the other side, and you want to put that wire into the little hole and then mash the handles down and it will make a loop. Then use your straight nose pliers and go ahead and close the loop. Besides my looper, and my straight nose pliers, I will also be using wire cutters and later on some chain nose pliers. Even though you are using a looper, I cannot stress how important it is for you to make sure that loop is closed with your straight nose pliers and then straighten it up, because sometimes it gets bent when it's coming out of the looper. I'm going to put my little pendant right there so that I have a better chance of keeping my hands in picture. So we will be making 2 bead components for this chain. The first one will be with our dyed agate, and we will use our bead cap, an 8mm agate, and a bead cap. And we will put this on the 20 gauge wire. So once you get your bead cap, your 8mm agate, and your bead cap on, go ahead and move them all the way down to your loop, and then using your looper, move the wire through that little hole on the far side until the bead snugs up against your looper, and then mash the handles. Then take your straight nose pliers and close the loop. Now, if you find once this is done that your beads are just too wobbly on the wire for your taste, you can ever so slightly on both ends bend that loop towards the bead cap, taking up the space. But you want to do it on both ends so the bead lays in the center. So the next component will be with the English cut goldenrod beads. You will use your rondelle gold tone spacers. It will be a rondelle, a English cut bead, a rondelle, an English cut bead, and a rondelle. But we're going to start with making the loop on our wire. So again, for this component, after you've got your loop, put on a rondelle spacer bead, then your English cut goldenrod, a rondelle spacer bead, your English cut goldenrod, and a rondelle spacer bead. Now, isn't that pretty? Now we're going to go ahead and make the loop on the other end. We do this exactly the same way and snug these up right up against the side of the looper and make your loop. I really love receiving the Bargain Bead Box every month. I enjoy looking at all the beads and deciding what projects I'm going to make to put up for the series every month. I hope you enjoy it too. There are so many things that we can learn together and such beautiful jewelry we can put together. Now, as we're finishing up this component, would you take a moment to like this video and leave a comment? That would help this channel so much. It would help me so much. Thank you. Now, to finish out this little section of the necklace, we're going to make another of the agate, the orange agate components. So let's start by putting the loop on the end of our wire. And make sure that you get that loop really closed well. So as a review, you're going to make your loop, then you're going to put on a bead cap, your orange agate, a bead cap, and then put a loop on the other end. I really love the looper. I would highly encourage anyone, especially beginners, to invest in a looper. There are 3 sizes. I use the smallest the most, and then I have a medium. I've not bought the large yet. As I said before, I use this looper every time I am making a project that is just doing a simple loop, especially on both ends, because of the consistency it gives in the loop. And I just don't have that consistency myself. So the components I will be using for this necklace is 2 of your agate beads with the English cut in the center. So when you're finished, you should have a total of 8 of your agate orange beads and 6 of your English cut components. Now I am making a 21-inch necklace chain with a total of 23 inches with the pendant. It's really up to you how many components you need depending on how long or short you're making your piece. So to put this piece together, we're going to lay it out as an agate, then your English cut, an agate, your English cut, an agate, your English cut, and an agate. I want to begin and end with the agate. So once I get both sides laid out, I'm going to take that chunky chain from my own stash and I'm going to put chain between each of these components. I have chosen to use 4 links of chain between each component. This really does remind me of lazy summer days with warm sunshine, sitting in the shade with a glass of iced tea. And the wonderful thing about this chain is that the links open up, and so I won't need to use jump rings. I'm going to count out 4 links and then open it to separate it from the chain. So here is link number 4. I'm going to take 2 of my chain nose pliers. I'm going to hold it looking for the slit in the link itself. That's where it will open. Then holding it with the slit up, I'm going to twist one wrist away from me so that that link will open up, and then separate the chain from it. And now it's just a matter of putting our component on and taking the link and twisting it back the way you came from to close it up. Be gentle. Now on the other side, we're going to repeat the process. Open up the 4th link very carefully between your chain nose pliers, making sure that slit is at the top. Twist one wrist to open it up, and then put on the next component you have laid out. Did you catch the slit at the top? And now repeating the process, we're going to take our chain nose and close that link back up, just like you would a jump ring. I love the way these components in the chunky chain go together. They're just lovely. So we're going to continue this process till we get each side of the necklace done. The next step is to take 4 links off of your chain by opening the 4th link. Then pick up the components you already have together. Put the opened end of that component on your open link and close it up. Then pick up the next component in line. Open up the link at the bottom of your chain and put that one on. And it just continues. So I'll meet you back here when I get both sides of the necklace done. Okay, side 1 finished. Now on to side 2. See you in a minute. So once we have gotten both sides done, it's time for us to join it in the middle. Now for the middle, I have decided to go with 5 links of the chain instead of 4, because I want it to be 2 and 2 on both sides of where my pendant swings. So I'm going to remove 5 links. Now once I get the links removed, the link that is open, I'm going to take one side of my necklace and insert the open end of the component into that link and close it up. And then I'm going to repeat that process on the other side, and that will join my chain necklace together. Always make sure that your links are really closed, especially in the center of this necklace. And we were speaking about hot summers. I don't know about you, but it seems like we went from early spring to the middle of summer in about 48 hours, because we have been hitting over 100 here. So the next thing is we're opening up that link on the other side, and we're going to add the other side of our necklace chain to it and close it up. My daughter took a trip this week to England. She said it was 65 there. I told her the heat index here said it was going to be between 110 and 120. I am not going outside. My husband tells me that's the feels like temperature. It's really only about 100 degrees. Well, the feels like temperature is really hot. And there we have it. Our chain is together and it's ready for our pendant. The only thing we need to do to the chain besides the pendant will be to add the length behind the neck. So, to put on our pendant, I'm counting out to the center of that 5 links. Now I had a decision to make. Originally, I was going to take a link off the chain and put it onto this pendant because I wanted consistency in the look. But then I realized that the pendant already had a beautiful little, I think it's gold-plated jump ring on it. So I decided to use that. So I'm going ahead and I am putting the pendant on using the jump ring that it came with, and the pendant will end up setting right in the center of the chain. And there you have it. It is ready to put the chain on the back for the length. Now when you are putting your chain on the back, this is really where you're going to have to decide how long you want this necklace. If you want this necklace to be a really long necklace, then use a lot of chain on the back. If you want it to be a short necklace, like maybe at breastbone, then you're going to want to put just a little bit of chain on the back. It's really up to you. It's a decision you need to make. Just remember, whatever you do, whatever length you want, when you decide, count your links. You have to have an even number on both sides. So I decided to go with that 21-inch chain, and I ended up cutting 36 links as my length. And then I took and counted it out and divided it by 2 and cut it in the middle, and that's how I got the chain that I'm using on both sides. Correction, not 36, 32, because I used 16 links on each side. So instead of using jump rings, I'm going to go ahead and attach the necklace to the extending chain with the link in the necklace itself. This gives it a consistent look. I think it's just really lovely. Now, one of the hardest parts for me when I'm putting these necklaces together is that my chain nose pliers just does not have, either one of them, a sharp enough end, a small enough point to really open these and not get in the way. Do you ever have that problem? One down, one to go. So as we're attaching the chain to the other side of the necklace chain, I wanted to thank you so much for joining me on this project today. I have had a really good time putting this one together. I love the color scheme of the Bargain Bead Box this month. And these are not colors I would normally buy for myself, but they are just amazing. So I'm going to put on a lobster claw clasp to close this necklace. And I'm going to go ahead and use a link to put that lobster claw clasp on the necklace. I also wanted to thank you for listening to my rant about how hot it is today. I went out and watered my plants and they were all screaming, "Help me, help me." I felt so bad for them. So what has the weather been like in your place? Let me know. Leave a comment below. And again, thank you for joining me on the journey today. I'll add pictures to the back. You will find this finished piece listed in the product description at the bottom. It will be available in our shop. I will see you next time for another beading adventure. Kathryn, CircleArtDesigns.com. Blessings, y'all.